This is the Highground Podcast. I'm Stevie W.
And Callum.
And this is the first edition of Franchise Wars.
Yay.
Okay, today we are a new little subject we're going to be dealing with, a new
concept.
New concept. We're going to be looking at films and arguing between the two of them. And today we're looking at Alien versus Aliens. So we're talking James Cameron versus Ridley Scott, or Ridley Scott versus James Cameron.
Yeah, so it's like, we don't necessarily have to be one franchise against another. We probably will do that, but inter-franchise is allowed as well. So I was originally going to call it sequels, but then we couldn't mention originals versus, so yeah. So let's see how we get on. Yeah.
So, 1979 Alien.
Yeah.
1986 Aliens.
Yes.
And Alien 3 came shortly after, a while later.
93?
I think it was 93. Followed by Alien puppet film.
Piece of shit.
Alien puppet. That's what I actually started watching. I'm going to go off subject right at the start. 97 Alien Resurrection. I started watching that when I bought the box set earlier this year. Terrible film.
I had to get my mum to rent that when it first came out because I wasn't old enough.
I saw it at the cinema when I was at university, and kind of like afterwards, the Alien the film was terrible. I'm sorry.
I think we may even keep Prometheus and Covenant for later as a versus, because they're both quite divisive, aren't they? Where you stand in the.
I'm going to go. Yeah, they would definitely do one of those because I actually that's a hard one. That's a very hard one for me. But we'll leave that one for the next one.
So
you're right. No, 1992, Alien 3. I'm going to quickly move these so they're in our order. As always, I'm using IMDb for the dates and stuff. So it's this year as of September the 6th in the UK was Aliens.
4 years, isn't it?
Alien was 40th anniversary. I saw it earlier this year at the cinema.
Yeah, I've seen it in the cinema as well.
Fantastic.
It is good. Yeah, it's like one of those films that you should see in the cinema if you ever get a chance. Like I still want to see Jaws because it's the closest thing. It's Jaws in space, isn't it?
Yes.
Essentially. But it's really tense, the first one. The tension is so good in the first one.
And I tell you, it's the same with the Blu-ray. The print on it.
Yeah, it's good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, see with the Blu-ray box set, as good as it is, I actually don't like any of the director's cuts of any of the films.
They extend.
I think they're all like fine as they are. Well, minus Resurrection, obviously, but I really don't like the director's cut of Aliens. I just think it's so long, and it's just scenes of those automated turrets that, who cares?
Aliens was good. It's been a while since I've seen the director's cut. I saw this was about 4 or 5 years ago, the Space Center in Leicester, the screening of Aliens on the, and that was brilliant because Charlotte had never seen it before.
Yeah, it's good. It's I think along with, well, sort of like traditionally Terminator 2, it's one of those like where the sequel sort of, I think box office wise surpassed the original, but it's considered like they're great sequels, aren't they? Like Aliens and.
US gross of Alien was $81 million, whereas Aliens was.
That's not too shabby for 1979.
Aliens was 85. Oh, the worldwide gross. Worldwide was 131, and for Aliens,
106.
And Alien was 106. So it was enough to greenlight eventually Alien 3.
So it made 20 more million worldwide.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah. It's more bombastic, isn't it? Aliens, I think, but. The main argument in this thing that annoys me with everyone is that they say you can't compare Alien with Aliens, and like it's nonsense. Like, of course you can. Like, they're in the same series, like there's no reason you can't. Like, it's just the tone is different. Like the tone in the first one is like we said, it's a stalk and slash. It's a haunted house in space. It's Jaws.
Because this, I'm going back because I saw them years ago, and it wasn't until recently.
Yeah.
I actually went out and bought the box set. So they're talking about the last 8-9 months. I went out and bought the Alien box set. I mean, I love Prometheus. I think I'm gonna go and say it right now. I actually preferred for a long while Prometheus to the original Alien movies.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it wasn't until I watched Covenant a second and third time.
Yeah.
I actually appreciated Covenant, but seeing Alien on the big screen and being in the audience after not watching it for years, and experiencing Alien.
Yeah. That's what it is, an experience.
Yeah, I found that perfect. I think Aliens is a more accessible movie because it's more for you when you're a teenager. It's like colonial marines are gonna kick these alien asses.
Yeah,
and it's to me as children.
It's another bug hunt.
Yeah, but it's so game over, man. Game over. He said alien. He said he meant illegal alien and signed up. I mean, I effing love Bill Paxton. Love him. Yeah, rest in peace, Bill Paxton. He's absolutely spot on.
I think the chemistry in Aliens is a lot better. I must admit on that front, because you do remember a lot of the Marines, like even if you don't remember like their names if they're not in it very long, you remember them by their lines and by their attitudes and that. I think the cast in the first one, they're deliberately quite morose and like quiet, aren't they? Like because I mean I think I read somewhere that when Dan O'Bannon was writing the script, he wrote it sexless, so like each cast member had a name that could be a man's or a woman's name, he's kept it boring basically, but the tones are totally different. Like the first one starts, it is like a slow burner, and then it just out of nowhere just comes, the cat scene with Harry Dean Stanton, that still makes me think like, what the hell, like when you see the movement in the background, you're not really quite sure what it is. Whereas in Aliens, I think it just sort of comes out of nowhere, and everything, kicks off on it too quickly. But yeah, it's just different tones, totally different tones. I mean, the action was in its full swing in the 80s, wasn't it? So it made sense to go that way.
Alien has got the used universe that was Star Wars. I'm not going to say created by Star Wars, but it was
futurism.
And you've got that was what New Hope inspired. Everything is dirty. And
you could live there.
Yeah.
Or you had lived it. There was another name for it as well, lo-fi sci-fi, where like sci-fi looks like it's still in the 70s. The keyboards and that. And Blade Runner does this as well, especially in the sequel. Things still look like they're from the 80s, but like progressively 30 years later.
It still works perfectly. And as recording at the start of November, we are actually now officially waiting for the Nexus to land on Earth.
Oh, we are, yeah.
So, but yeah, I remember from Aliens, it's just like I said, it's more brighter than Alien.
Yeah.
And like, bigger. It's the whole thing about it being in the shadows and everything.
And we move from one alien to many.
Yeah.
It's the scales are tipped, aren't they?
And the whole thing with
Ripley.
Kane.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Kane and Bishop, is it? How you literally program from Alien to think that the robot's going to
Ash.
Sorry, Ash.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ash. No, Kane. Kane is sorry. Ash.
Yeah.
Is
he's a creepy bastard.
He is. Ian Holm when he's was it with a Playboy magazine?
Yeah, it's so
he's
weird,
choking Sigourney Weaver, Ripley, and and the thing is again with Alien. For me, I like the way that Parker and Brett are arguing because they want a bigger cut.
Yeah.
Whereas Aliens,
like you would, if you're an industrial worker or something. And then that's the good thing about both of them. I think like the sort of general conversation chit chat you would get in real life.
Yeah.
Like say about the used universe thing. I mean, in Star Wars you get a little bit of that, but it's like I think it's just George Lucas trying to sound sci-fi and about Toshi Station and power conveyors. Whereas like in this, it's like we want more money. Everyone understands that, don't they? If you're a soldier, you understand like the banter in Aliens and
go on the whole bug hunt and everything.
Yeah.
And
which is actually a reference to Starship Troopers.
And having Paul Reiser, who you think is going to be the good guy, turns out to be the bastard.
Evil bastard, yeah.
Carrie Henn as Newt.
Who became a high school teacher.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she's the substitute daughter for Ripley.
Yeah, because in the special edition, it tells you that her daughter died of old age while she was in space, didn't she?
Yeah.
Which is actually one moment I did like from the special edition. They should have kept. And obviously Kyle Reese is good at it as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Corporal Hicks. Yeah, no, I think the cast is much better in Aliens.
Definitely.
It's more. It's a James Cameron cast, isn't it? At the end of the day, you've got woman that plays Vasquez, Jeanette Goldstein, and Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton is great. He gets killed by a Terminator, gets killed by an alien, gets killed by a Predator.
Yeah, he's the only one to be killed away all three, isn't he?
Yeah. He does have some of the best lines in the movie.
Yeah, he's great.
He does.
Because he's our entry point. I think.
Yeah.
He's us. Like he's the one that doesn't really want to be there.
No.
Like just wants to run away.
I think he's such an underrated actor.
He is good. Yeah, they're all quite good in it. Actually.
Yeah.
I like Lance Henriksen's good as well. Like he's creepy. They do the opposite with him with Paul Reiser. Like you think he's a bad guy right away, and it turns out he's actually okay. Like,
but he was one of the original ones up for the Terminator role in Terminator.
Yeah, because he's a cop in it as well, isn't he?
Yeah. There was originally before the studio wanted Arnie
and OJ.
Yeah.
Who literally did become a Terminator.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Ooh. Yeah. Bill Paxton in two of my all-time favorite movies, Apollo 13 and Twister. And he is just.
He's good. Yeah.
I still
quite sad when he dies.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, Sigourney Weaver, of course, Ripley.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to think she was the first female badass.
She's the first one I can remember, as in like that everyone recognised. I think Princess Leia was like kind of kept as your hero
crush
before everyone recognised it, and then when Ripley came along, that was when we started going, oh no, actually there has been.
Yeah.
It annoyed me recently with Wonder Woman when they're all like, see, we can make a female action hero. Well,
Ripley actually.
Aliens, Ripley was destroying aliens 30 years before Wonder Woman.
And she actually did lead the charge.
Yeah.
Because she is the star of Alien and Aliens. And actually of all the Alien movies.
Yeah. The first one's kind of weird because
more ensemble.
She's not immediately the star. Like, you don't know she's the star until the end when she's the only one left, and you think, like, because I remember the first time I saw them out of order when I was a kid, as I did with a lot of franchises. I think I watched Aliens first, and when I watched Alien, I remember saying to my dad, like, he's the one that used to always let me watch them. I would not have said she's the one that would have survived.
No.
I thought it would have been like Captain Dallas or.
But if you look at conventions of the horror genre,
yeah,
the surviving female is the one that's going to be
post-Halloween.
Yeah.
It's
always the more put on woman,
sort of
the
masculine
woman
as well.
So she's not a gun-toting, bit like Sarah Connor was in Terminator.
Yeah.
It's the one you wouldn't expect. You can't have a guns a-blazing from the start.
And
you have to grow into it.
Immediately feminine either. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis isn't, like, I'm not disparaging her, but she's like quite masculine in Halloween. Like, she's got a deep voice and she's quite tall, and the rest of them are all pretty girls. And it's that same sort of thing, isn't it? And even defending it, Gal Gadot in that respect, she's strong. Like, she has masculine traits. So
she's tall. Sigourney Weaver's taller than me.
She's way taller.
5'11" 3/4.
She's massive, isn't she?
Not Gwendolyn Christie tall.
No, but she's pretty tall. Yeah.
I feel short again.
I think like with the thing with Aliens that Alien didn't do is that it showed you her as a mother.
Yeah.
So like going back to getting it and clashing with the other mother, the Queen. That I never picked up on that symbolism when I was younger, but.
What about the cat though? They got the cat.
Yeah, Jonesy.
Yeah, because they always make sure they've got Jonesy. They do. So that's everything. It's always the instinct to
protect.
There is.
Whereas everyone else is maybe a little more selfish.
Yeah, John. That's like when the crew come back to the ship in Alien.
Yeah.
Ripley doesn't want to let them back in because of procedure.
Yeah.
And she gets outvoted, and they bring them in with the alien on. Something wrong with something wrong with Kane. But you find out later. For me, that's. I mean, like I said, when I was a kid, when I was younger, it was Aliens. Because Alien was too dark.
Yeah.
But the older you get, you change. Some people go.
You do, yeah. It's like Terminator, isn't it? Like we both prefer the first.
Yeah.
To the second, but the second is the one I watched first. I think it's probably like my parents watched this one first. It's not as bad. Like it's not as violent or anything like that. But once you're older and you do realise the intricacies of the first ones that are universally considered not as good as the second ones, you start to see their strengths.
Could we actually argue right now that Aliens, I mean, it's not to detract from Aliens. Okay, Alien got an X. Aliens got an R. This is on IMDb, so I'm assuming they both got 18s in the UK.
Yeah, they
don't have.
Yeah. I'm sure they have. Oh no, I think Alien is a 15 now. Actually.
So would that mean? Everyone says, but when a film becomes big, they always dumb it down. They always dumb the sequels down. Not dumb it down, but they always do it so that
it's more accessible.
Yeah. So could you argue that Aliens was one of the first ones to actually do that to try and get a wider audience?
Well, I don't know, because it was still an 18, wasn't it? Over here, so they were both 18s.
But in America, where the dominant market is...
Maybe, yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, over here, you'd still be screwed because
you're
an 18, but I think with Aliens, it's more the swearing. There's more swearing in Aliens, isn't there? And with an Alien, it's gorier.
Yeah.
Because Aliens isn't that gory, is it really? It's all in the darkness and...
Yeah, Alien...
too much gunfire.
The chest burst a bit.
Yeah, I mean...
That's still fantastic.
Can you get better than that? I'm sure Rick Baker worked on that. So, special effects master already. Guy that did the if anyone doesn't know, Rick Baker's the guy that did American Werewolf in London, which is the greatest transformation scene ever.
Let's have a look. Rick Baker.
I'm sure he did something on Alien.
Alien was...
I knew he did Empire Strikes Back, yeah.
Let's look, special effects.
It may be Rob Bottin, actually. I don't know.
Art department. Miscellaneous crew. Flash Gordon.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
I always remember talking of Flash Gordon. There was a trailer for it on telly once, and my dad wasn't quick enough to turn the remote off, and it was just a voiceover where he's saying something like, "Everything on this planet is ready to pop a boner," and I was like, "Dad, what's a boner?"
Oh. I have only one story like that. It's when you're really young. I watched Bachelor Party.
Oh, Bachelor Party, yeah.
And
it's harmless now.
Yeah. And there's a line in it. It only seemed like yesterday when I first showed you how to give your first BJ, and I was like, "You when you're young, you don't know what it means." It's like that sounds cool. I don't know what it is, but it sounds funny.
Yeah.
Then you get a bit later, and it's like, "Oh, that is actually pretty funny."
Find out what it is.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So
anyway, back to aliens that are shaped like cocks.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I just totally destroyed that there, didn't I?
Yeah.
The maturity of it.
Yeah. Alien. Back to Alien. That's a whole other subject.
Well, what I do like about these two films, and actually every film in the series until Prometheus, was that it was done by a different director. So it didn't have to follow you will inevitably say, "Oh, it's not like Ridley's one," but I think each one had a flavour that was reminiscent of its director. And not always good. Like I think David Finch has disowned Alien 3, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't count it as his first film, does he?
I haven't seen it in years.
I like Alien 3. I think it's perfectly serviceable.
I remember when I watched it, it came out in 93, I'd seen it in 94, and I actually enjoyed it.
No, I liked it. I think that Alien 3 is way too dark, though, for a lot of people.
And the ending, but the ending, I actually like the ending where she sacrifices herself.
Yeah, I liked it. I think you could tell they were trying to end it at the time.
I stopped watching Alien 3 when I went on Blu-ray. I got the box set because I wanted my fiance to watch it. She still hasn't watched it yet. Yeah, she's listening in. Oh, we have a listener in today as we're doing this. So yeah, she still hasn't watched it yet. So I'm saving that to watch it with her.
Oh, it's good that it has a really, really interesting production history, like pre-production. I mean, you know, like you can actually read all the scripts online. Like sci-fi author William Gibson wrote a good one that you can actually buy officially now. It's been done as a comic and a screenplay, and then there was one by a guy called Vincent Ward, an Australian writer, and his was fantastic. It was basically the prison was a wooden planet. And it was monks, and they were like, sort of, you know, they were doing penance for their crimes on Earth, and it was fantastic. Like, I mean, there's a scene he wrote where there's like a cornfield, and the aliens going through it, and they had like storyboards. It was like the Lost World. You know, you see the raptors going, and like God knows how they went for what they did. You know, like some of these scripts sound really good, and I'd love to see them. You know, but.
They had a release date. They had sets made for a film.
Yeah, Rennie Harlin was supposed to direct it originally.
Jeez.
And it was supposed to be set on Earth. Which there's actual trailers you can look on YouTube. There's a teaser and it says like this time it's on Earth or something like that, and it shows you Earth. There's no footage, but it, you know, it's interesting. Like I like the troubled production ones are often the more interesting ones. They
make for interesting documentaries. I mean, I watched a documentary on Aliens 3 on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I think Alien and Aliens had quite relatively untroubled production, apart from, you know, Ridley Scott always clashes with studios, doesn't he? But that's normal.
He clashes with and he clashed with Ed Harris on the Abyss.
Ridley, James Cameron.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
I
think Aliens is a distinctly James Cameron film, isn't it? Actually?
Yeah.
He has that sort of.
He's got his
sheen.
Yeah. It had Bill Paxton in it and Jeanette Goldstein. So, Jeanette Goldstein was.
Quite a few people turn up from that now, actually, in things. I mean, Al Matthews.
Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn. Al Matthews is in a Bond film. Mark Rolston's in quite a few things. He's been in a couple of Saw films.
But okay, if you're go for arguing Alien versus Alien for James Bond, I'm going to just say one thing: live and let die.
Yeah.
Who have we got? We got Yaphet Kotto in Alien,
and I'm sure someone else in that's out of Bond as well, aren't they? Oh no, maybe not. No.
But we have Yaphet Kotto.
Indeed, we do. Yeah.
In Alien, so anyone that's from James Bond that's in Aliens, beat that one. Yaphet Kotto. I'm saying it again. Yaphet Kotto.
Well, there's someone in James Bond that's in Alien 3.
Alien 3, James Bond. We've got.
And it's a very walk-on part, if you remember, from For Your Eyes Only.
I can barely remember For Your Eyes.
You won't get it then. It's Charles Dance.
My best background character in a James Bond film, or one of them, is Blink and You Miss It, View to a Kill, Dolph Lundgren.
Oh yeah, and Maud Adams is in it as well. We'll do James Bond, don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the main point with this dichotomy thing is that most people assume Aliens is better because it's the one they either saw more as a kid, like you were saying, like it's more accessible, you know, bombastic, it's got the action. But the first one is like the filmmaking is just masterful.
Perfect.
It's just the tension is. It's the only other tense film I think is tenser is the original Dawn of the Dead, but just like he holds the tension on the edge of my knife. And it's so good. Like you literally forward and you see like when you see it in the cinema, I imagine the same. But like finally see it in the big screen, I was like on the edge of my chair, you know.
We're talking about.
I've seen it so many times. It was like seeing it for the first time.
When did Prometheus come out?
2012.
Last time I saw Alien. Again, I had the box set on DVD, but we stopped watching it because somebody stopped watching it. I just been given the finger by my fiance. We bought the box set and we watched Alien and Aliens, and then she stopped for Alien 3, and so that was the last time I saw Alien until this year. So that's 7 years.
Yeah.
So seeing Alien from after 7 years again for the first time and actually seeing it on the big screen. It
It's
got
all
me
the
how
difference.
beautiful it is.
Yeah,
The film is
it's so every frame is thought about, isn't it?
Yeah. But seeing this clean image. I mean, we did, like I said, we saw Aliens a few years ago on the curved screen at the Space Centre in Leicester.
Yeah.
But that was enjoyable. But it was enjoyable as
Aliens,
a movie.
Yeah, Aliens is one of the ones you can sit down with like your friends and watch on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't have like subtext and layers and that, but it is like we've said it like 3 times now. But it's the more accessible one. Like you can sit down, and you can watch it, and you don't actually really need to know what happened in the first one. Not really. I mean, you can explain it in a minute or so, couldn't you? But what I do find interesting about Alien and Aliens is they use the same end set piece to get rid of the alien, basically.
Yeah.
You know, shooting it into space, and it's clever how they make it seem so different in Aliens with the power loader but in Alien, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
She's sort of, sneaking her way around it while it's sleeping and trying to find the button to let it out. Whereas in Aliens, it's the whole like get away from her, you bitch. Like just beating each other the crap out of each other.
But you can do it and make it original because it's the scope. It's like one's confined, and the other one's on a more grander scale.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you're watching the same thing over again.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
even the
fantastic.
location, like in Alien, it's in like a cramped escape pod, and in Aliens, it's in a big hangar. So you have the room to do the fight with the loader and that.
What got me, I have as you. I'm going to go say it now. I do. If you'd asked me early next year, if you'd asked me last year, what do I prefer, Alien or Aliens? I would have said Aliens. It's fun.
Yeah.
But after seeing it this year on the big screen, it can't compete with Alien. Nothing for me can compete with Alien now in terms of how
everything,
visually, how fantastic it is. And I tell you, I think this is where it goes for repeat viewing. I remember a while ago we had this argument over what's better, Prometheus or Covenant, which we will be doing soon. But for me, I've always said Covenant would have been a great film if you get rid of the beginning and the ending. Yeah, just have the bulk of it. But after we had the argument, I got Covenant as a digital download with a box set. So I watched Covenant again. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was on the edge of my seat. I actually and I watched it another time, and I was like, "This is a real edge of your seat, fantastic film." Covenant is.
I think like Prometheus and Covenant, they really capture the tone of specifically the original.
Yeah.
Very well. I'd like to see the Blomkamp one because that's like the Prometheus of the Aliens world. I'd love to see like them bring Ripley and Hicks back and discount 3 and 4. I'm still living in hope that's going to happen.
It's under the mouse house now, so let's see what they do with.
They have good record with not tampering with people's franchises, don't they? So I don't know. We might see.
I'm going to go Ian Holm in Aliens.
Yeah, creepy bastard.
He's good.
He's good though, yeah.
And everyone may rest in peace. John Hurt.
Yeah.
Kane.
And Harry Dean Stanton as well.
Pardon?
Harry Dean Stanton as well.
But a lot of people know John Hurt now from the Harry Potter films.
Yeah, or Elephant Man.
Yeah.
Specifically, I think, isn't it?
1984.
Fantastic. Yeah. Check out if you've not seen it. It's a good adaptation.
It's fantastic. And V for Vendetta.
That's
Johnny Green. Which 1984 and then V for Vendetta just for John Hurt for the way who character he plays.
But like the chestburster scene is still hits you, doesn't it?
That's one of the most iconic scenes in films.
My argument was just about to be made invalid there because I was just about to say I maybe prefer Aliens slightly more by 1% because of how many quotes can you remember from Alien, but you can remember from Aliens, and how many. But then the chestburster scene is like more iconic than that whole film combined, really, isn't it?
That's the thing but we're talking between 79 and 86. You're talking different generation gap. So from 79, you've got it wasn't about the dialogue.
No.
It was about the tension.
The tone, yeah.
I mean, you look at it's like Terminator versus Terminator 2. There's hardly any dialogue in Terminator versus Terminator 2, where it's more like you got the jokes and the quips.
Yeah, and it's I get what you mean there actually, and also I imagine Aliens is where all the toys started happening as well.
Yeah.
So we had that weird thing we've mentioned before was RoboCop.
Yeah.
It's a hard 18 or R-rated film, and they're marketing it for kids. Like, it doesn't make any sense, does it? Like with Nightmare and Friday as well.
Yeah.
You get like action figures of Jason and Freddy and lunchboxes with them on it. Like, it's just wow. Like, how?
Because we'd
only the 80s.
Because kids wanted what was forbidden, really.
Yeah.
So it's like tape trading.
Yeah, tape trading. Yeah.
You seen this? Oh, I gotta come around. I've got this. I've got this comic of Aliens. We've got to watch Aliens. And you watch it.
The taboo sort of feeling that you have.
Yeah.
And it's like a 5th generation shit copy.
Yeah.
But you could still.
When they recorded late at night off of the TV when you were supposed to be asleep.
Yeah, with the breaks as well.
Yeah. And that's.
Yeah, no, I know. I miss that sort of era as well, to be honest. But yeah, no,
for me, for Aliens, Aliens is always, for me, I know I've mentioned it already, is always going to be Bill Paxton, Hudson.
Yeah.
I just think he's fantastic. But they do have that family chemistry.
Yeah, it's like you could really believe these people were like Marines, couldn't you?
Yeah.
They've been together for years. And
whereas Alien, these people are thrown there, they're not family. You can
Yeah,
imagine
they
them
just
getting
work.
off the ship,
yeah,
never seeing each other
Exactly,
again. Whereas
yeah.
Alien, the Marines, they make these jokes about, like Hudson.
oh, about Vasquez being
Yeah.
an illegal alien.
Yeah, and that's...
Yeah,
But then you could also know that they've got each other's backs,
yeah,
even though they take the mickey out of each other. Whereas Alien, they're not a family. There's the hierarchy.
Yeah. I mean, I love that sort of backward and forward between him and Vasquez, where he's like, "Have you ever been mistaken for a man?" And she's like, "No, have you?" It's so good. Like,
yeah, Harry Dean Stanton. I mean, the people. You got more serious actors in Alien.
yeah.
Whereas Aliens, you've got
but
character actors.
also,
there are character actors
You've
in
got
Alien.
more serious actors, like serious in terms of gravitas, like all these are big people, but they don't use them very much, which actually works. So, like, you're thinking, oh, Ian Holmes in this, he might be the main character, or John Hurt's in this, he might be. Actually, oh wait, no, he's dead now. Or it might be Yaphet Kotto. And then it just whittles down until you've got this relatively unknown person at the time, I think. And it really works.
Well, I said at the time, it's post Halloween, so you've got the survivors. So borderline slasher.
Oh, easy, yeah. It's another thing about Alien is that not many people realise, with the way that the ship's structured and the darkness and the shadows, it's a gothic as well. It's pulling off the old, the Hammer sensibilities of like castles and dark places on hills and that. It's also a haunted house in space. It works that way as well.
I like how in documentaries you go about how they kept all the budgets down and with everything.
Yeah.
Use of mirrors, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, to make the corridors. George Lucas did that as well, though.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you which shots in though, but
probably the Death Star and the detention blocks.
Because it's wherever like you need to make corridors look longer. I mean, you just build that now, wouldn't you? Or CG it. But,
CG.
I mean, I've never noticed the mirrors.
But the thing I like is the practical, and this is Alien.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, the only bit that looks a bit dated in that scene is when it runs across the table, but for the impact of like, that was a moment in cinema where you have to pause it and go, wow, did that just happen? Like, I mean, apparently pregnant women were puking in the aisles and stuff.
Because they didn't expect it.
Yeah, it's like another Exorcist moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I really think that annoys the crap out of me is when you watch old films with people that are uninitiated
and they laugh,
and they go, why, if you are drawn out of a film because of a special effect you don't like, then it's not like it's a bad special effect, it's the top of the top for the time. And if it's something you thoroughly enjoy, then you should be able to get over the fact of that.
Yeah.
I remember 95, maybe either 95 or 96, early, mid to 96, we watched North by Northwest in a seminar at university, and I got a bit very annoyed when some people were laughing. I'd not seen North by Northwest at that point, and when I realised what film it was and how good it was supposed to be, I did something really stupid. If you're studying film, I checked my brain out. I decided, see you later. I'm gonna enjoy this movie, and I enjoyed it. Then I was only broken up by people laughing at some of the dodgy special effects, and I wasn't taken out of the film by it. I was just more annoyed that people were laughing at bits that I was enjoying.
Well, I mean, special effects for me are just a means to show something that you want to show on the script. You know, like they're not pinned to a certain time for me. I mean, like, obviously I'll go, oh, that's an old film, like, because the special effects look older, but it doesn't make me go, oh, I'm not watching this. These special effects are rubbish. You know, it's inane, isn't it? I mean, if anything, I do that now more. Well, that CG looks awful. You know.
Yeah.
Because it's more distracting.
For me, the only thing, to slightly contradict myself, the only thing that really, you know, with Alien Resurrection, the puppet hybrid alien.
Yeah, practicals.
That took me out of the film a bit more, but then again, when I started watching it a few months ago, I switched off before that scene even started, because by that point I'd lost all interest in the film.
Yeah, I think it's taken Aliens to the nth degree, isn't it? Like, we need an action film quickly, and it's just rubbish.
It was a. I wonder where. Sorry, I clicked on just clicked on Alien Resurrection and recognised someone. It turned out they were in Taken. But I didn't.
No, it's the
I
first
did not like that film.
Have that purity to them, don't they? Like, it's been untapped.
But you know, okay, I'm gonna ask just a slightly off subject thing. Aliens 3 versus Alien Resurrection.
Oh, Alien 3 easily.
Yeah.
I actually have a soft spot for Alien 3.
It's got a fantastic cast to it.
Yeah, it's very English, isn't it?
Yeah, Paul McGann. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna watch it.
Brian Glover from Porridge.
I recognise him from some other stuff.
Yeah, he's in American Werewolf in London as well. Oh yeah, he's been in loads of things. He's like a really
Yorkshire
stereotypical, like bold, hard guy. And
Ralph Brown.
Yeah,
he was in Phantom Menace. Rick O'Leary. I always remember Del Preston in Wayne's World 2.
Oh, I've never seen Wayne's
World 2. He's good in Wayne's World 2. He's a roadie. And Pete Postlethwaite. I mean, it's on paper, it should have worked. But then again, it's alright. If he hadn't done Alien 3, he might not have done 7. He might not have done Fight Club, which is 20 years old this year. But I can't really. I'll be honest with you right now. As we're doing Alien versus Aliens, I can't see us doing Alien 3 versus Alien Resurrection.
No,
because we end up going about Alien 3 all the
real
time.
Debate, is there?
No.
I mean, I think we would only find interest of sequels that are hard to sort of decide between.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But I know I do have a concept for one coming up soon. I'll tell you now. This is going to be coming soon, right? Because this is going to be a real fighting one. Little plug, yeah. Okay. This is going to be a Stevie W versus Callum episode. We're going to be doing very, very soon.
Okay.
It's going to be Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah.
Versus Attack of the Clones.
Oh, you know how to push
so it's going to be It's going to be Callum arguing 2 films, or one of those 2 films, whatever he chooses, versus me arguing Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, it should be easy.
His famous last words. So that's going to be listen out for that one, because that's going to be the one where, if anything, that's going to be a very interesting one. Indeed. But that'll be during our Star Wars period, which is going to be coming up soon on the Highground Podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's another thing. Also coming soon, an episode of the Highground Podcast where we take shots every time we mention that other franchise.
Oh yeah, God, yeah, we'll be drunk, won't we? Yeah. Dare start one up.
Coming the next time we don't have to do our paint job. So we don't have to come in absolutely out hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be unfortunate, wouldn't it?
Okay, Alien. Back to Alien versus Aliens.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they are quite really hard to decide between, aren't they?
I'm gonna go on the limb and say that like I said, I've been really, really lucky enough to actually have seen Alien, and there was a packed house.
Yeah,
I thought
it was when I saw it. Yeah.
Here's the thing, I'm gonna keep going. I don't like doing this because we're not getting sponsored yet or anything. Hopefully, we will eventually. But I purchased this was online from Amazon like about 7-8 months ago. I got the Alien box set for £15 because I thought it's gonna be like by the time I went to the cinema I had to go all the way to Northampton to see it at the View Cinema. I thought, okay, it's gonna if I buy the box set at £15 and it had digital download with it. This is all from Amazon. So I was like, you know what? I've got them digitally. I can just watch them anytime on my TV through Google Play or YouTube. And I've got the box set, which has got like the 2 versions of the first 4 films.
Yeah.
And that means I don't have to pay to the cinema to watch it because it's going to be 20 quid for me to pay for me and my fiance to go and see it. Then nearer the time when it came up, I was curious because I really want to see Alien on the big screen.
Yeah.
How much is it per ticket? $4.99 a ticket just to see Alien.
Yeah.
And so I said to my fiance, I said, do you want to go and see Alien? It's only £5 a ticket. She went, okay, so we went all the way over, even though we just bought the box set to go and see Alien on the big screen.
It's totally different on the big screen. Yeah.
It is, and I don't regret it. It's
good.
Effing fantastic. And like I said, a few years ago I did see Aliens, and for me it's about the experience. I mean, if I'd been 10, 15 years younger, this podcast may have been differently. May have been different because of Aliens. Yes, Aliens.
Yeah.
But now, especially in the last few years from doing In the Geek Room, and now the Highground Podcast, where everything is research for me at the moment.
Yeah.
And viewing films differently.
Yeah. You start to take, like the subtler ones that you thought, oh, they're not boring, but like like you say, you'd be like, yeah, Aliens, man, it's got pulse rifles and like power loaders and alien queens, and then like you look at the first one and you actually think this is a really well made film, like really well made. I'm
gonna go slightly off subject again, just to make a point, is that when you start doing film reviews and everything, it can turn everything becomes about research. And when you start watching, staying in the cinema, the majority of the time now, I'm looking at everything on the screen because, and this is the, I mean, it can become a job.
Yeah.
But I love my job in terms of what we're doing right now. I love sitting in the cinema now, trying to thinking out key moments when I'm watching these films as to what I'm going to say about it later.
Yeah.
And being an active film viewer most of the time with the Star Wars films, it's again, and the Marvel films, it's all done on. I check my brain out and I'll figure out what I'm going to say afterwards. The majority of times I've been sitting in the cinema, even with the like of watching the 4th anniversary of Alien, you're there thinking, this is fantastic, this is beautiful, and it's going to be pulled up later. But when you can start looking at the construction of it while you're watching it, it doesn't distract from the enjoyment of the film, but you actually look at it on a more clinical way.
Yeah.
We used to have 3 of us doing these podcasts, and one of us pulled out because of how it was going in terms of it becomes more of a job. But to me, this whole element of doing these podcasts is absolutely fantastic because you do see films differently. And through all of this, I prefer Alien now because Alien, in terms of its construction, in terms of its set design and costume design, and even the miniature models, beautiful, and the cleaned up print for the anniversary, beautiful.
One thing for me that is nailed by both of them perfectly is the sound design. Like in the first one, it's just the clanks and the creaks on the ship that you think, like, what the hell's out there? And then when it finally does appear, it's the horrible, unnatural, slimy, just the sounds it makes. And then obviously of Aliens, you have all the weaponry and
pulse rifles.
The pulse rifles, they're really iconic, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the motion detectors as well. I forgot to mention the motion detectors. They were really great way of like building the tension. You know, when it's approaching where they are, and you're thinking, where is it? It's on the detector. Where is it?
Yeah.
You know, that sound design used so well.
The thing is, you can't really remember the soundtracks for these films.
No, they're quite ambient, aren't they? Like
Yeah.
in the background.
But that's a good thing sometimes, because it's not like a big epic.
You don't realise it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that works, because you don't need to be... I think when you got a soundtrack that you actually remember, you know, it goes to a different genre of movie. You're Indiana Jones and your serial and, you know, your Marvel films. And the iconic films that are more of a family oriented, you have to have that gung ho feel good music.
Yeah.
But with your horror films, with the exception of ones that have your slashers where you have your
Yeah.
I hope I haven't just forgot to try. That was my bad interpretation of it. And you know, and of course, your John Carpenter ones, which are very memorable.
Yeah.
But that is the signature of your Halloween and your Friday movies. But with Alien and Aliens, you don't really need it, because it's like you were saying.
Yeah, it's like it's an organic soundtrack, isn't it? I suppose.
But yeah, like I said, I think I can't say more about it, because I'm completely on the. I mean, I don't want to disrespect James Cameron, because James Cameron
rocked.
Yeah, he did. He did absolutely fantastic and created did one of the best science fiction action
films,
horror film, because it's an action film as well.
It is definitely an action. I think interestingly as well, like, the irony of it is that Ridley Scott and James Cameron were both inspired to do science fiction because of Star Wars.
No, take another shot.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I remembered right now while I was on the, because I remember Ridley Scott saying, you know, like, he saw it in one of the theatres he was making. He's made a film called The Duelists before he made Alien, and he I think he saw it when he was on the way there, and he said, "Oh, this is gonna shake everything up," kind of thing. And he's never interestingly said if he likes it or not, just that it's what inspired him. And then James Cameron, I think the story was that he was a truck driver originally, and he had a review about it on the radio, or how much money it had made, and he quit on the day and said, "I'm going to be a filmmaker and do that." So you think how many people are actually like who they are now because of it, maybe.
Everybody that works for Marvel.
Yeah, they're all big Star Wars people, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like the two franchises that are most commonly referenced as influences, and this is why I think what great filmmakers are, is ones that think outside the genre in which they work.
Yeah.
Is that everything comes back to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, both George Lucas films.
Yeah.
Which would be another interesting one to do, Star Wars versus Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But it all goes back to them, and again, you're saying James Cameron and Ridley Scott does everything. I mean, Blade Runner, again, which is directly Star Wars.
Ridley Scott kind of doesn't touch science fiction much, but when he does, you know, it's usually good.
Yeah,
very good. Whereas James Cameron kind of stayed in it, didn't he, for a bit? He's quite comfortable in science fiction, isn't he? And he's good at it. You know, like Terminator, first two Terminator films are good and are great, and
he did The Abyss.
It's kind of science fiction, isn't it? Yeah, I suppose it is.
It is science fiction. He did The Abyss, then he did Avatar, but he also did. I
don't like Avatar.
I didn't like Avatar. It's Pocahontas in space. I don't care what anyone said. If you're gonna watch Avatar, watch Pocahontas instead.
Yeah, and Dances with Wolves. That's a better film.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I like the way that he's promoting saving the environment and people in space.
Like it was it was revolutionary and all that, but I just think it's just the film is actually just lackluster.
You know the life tree or whatever they called it in Aliens.
Yeah.
Not in Aliens. Sorry, if I say Aliens, in Avatar.
Yeah.
All that reminded me of was the Mother Willow in Pocahontas.
Oh, yeah.
At that point, I completely tuned out. James
Fern.
Cameron, if you're listening, I'm not a fan of your Avatar movies, but listen to your heart, you will understand.
And Fern Gully as well. It just felt like Fern Gully, the movie. Well, the other movie. Yeah, no,
Next podcast, why we don't like Avatar.
Yeah.
Sorry, James, but can I just say, Titanic was alright, but
whether you like it or not, Titanic, like the special effects were unreal in Titanic. They still are good.
Yeah, and who else is in Titanic?
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Jeanette Goldstein as well.
Who?
Vasquez.
Ah, sorry. Yeah, and he did another one, a documentary with Bill Paxton.
About the dive.
Yeah.
Like the diving in the water.
Because you're listening to this, and we hopefully still have you we still have your attention. I'm going to find the name of this documentary because you should watch it because it is. But in himself.
I think he directed. Did he direct it?
I think he did himself.
Oh yeah, it would be Self. Yeah.
Self. This is where we have to go down quite a. Not Titanic.
How far it was.
It was 2000s, it's early 2000s. Ghosts of the Abyss. That's the one. Ghosts of the Abyss. We found it on YouTube. Hopefully, it's still there. 1 hour, 1 minute long. It's about Bill Paxton and James Cameron going to the bottom, going to the actual Titanic wreck. Absolutely fantastic. There's some stuff in it which would ruin it for you if you watch it. I tell you, but go and watch it. It's a absolutely fantastic film. I mean, it is directed by James Cameron. Truly fantastic, and it ranks up there. Even if you don't like the film Titanic, don't let it put you off. Just watching James Cameron and Bill Paxton visiting the wreck of the Titanic for real is one absolutely effing incredible. I'm gonna fully recommend that movie. It's superb. Me and my fiance went out and actually bought Titanic afterwards after watching it.
God, I haven't seen Titanic for years.
I think we've still got the packaging. Yeah, there's two good. Yeah, what's the name's pretty hot in it?
Kate Winslet.
Pretty hot. I
thought she was never as pretty as she was in that afterwards. Not being rude, just.
David Warner's in it as well.
Yeah.
And he's in Tron.
And like
Star Trek.
3 Star Trek films, yeah.
He's the one that goes about you've never heard Shakespeare.
Yeah, the original Klingon. Yeah, he's in Next Generation as well, the one where Picard gets tortured and he's like, there are 4 lights.
Bill Paxton. I'm sorry, I'm just such a fan of Bill Paxton's work. He's one of these actors. This is why Aliens does still have a soft spot.
Yeah, I think he's most people's favourite character in that, isn't he?
Yeah. Hudson. But he was such an underrated actor.
He was good, yeah. So is Michael Bain as well. Yeah. Michael Bain's a good actor as well.
Was he's in Planet Terror?
Planet Terror, yeah. He's the sheriff, isn't he?
Yeah. He's another one that deserves a career resurrection.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what he's been doing recently. Scorpion King 4 straight to video 2015.
You know a good film a few years ago by a guy who directed horror film called Martyrs. What was it called again? It's like a nuclear apocalypse and they're trapped in a basement and Michael Bain's like a bit of a psycho in it, but you know, he's not as psycho as the other people, you know.
That sounds like one of the Cloverfield sequels.
Yeah, it does sound a bit like a Cloverfield film. I can't remember what it's called now. It's like, I see the title, I know it.
How far are we going back?
2000. Oh. No, it's further up, I think. It's definitely after Grindhouse.
Grindhouse was 2007, Planet Terror.
It's way after that. The Divide, that's it.
Divide.
Yeah. But, no, yeah, he's quite a good character actor as well, actually.
All these ones that let's just hope that somewhere down the line they get a career resurrection.
Oh, Tombstone, man. You've got to see Tombstone. It's got him and Bill Paxton again.
Yeah, I will check that one out.
Oh, it's great.
Powers Booth as well.
Cast to end all casts in that.
Thomas Hayden Church. Sam Elliott. Sometimes there's a man. Sometimes there's a man.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I need to
meandering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. We wrapping up.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm gonna.
Which one then?
For me, I'm gonna say Alien,
Alien?
because, like I said, this is just. It's just a thing of beauty. I mean, take away the terror, take away all the, just in terms of set design alone and lighting and everything.
Yeah.
Right down to the miniatures. To me, and the costume design, which we haven't touched on.
Yeah.
It's I can't fault it, because it is it's just, yeah. I just think it's a thing of beauty. Or for me, Alien. You?
I think just to be different, I think only by like a margin though. I think Aliens, because I always fondly remember the one I watched first in a series. Like I watched Empire Strikes Back first from Star Wars, so that's always my personal favourite, you know. But I think I remember Aliens the most, and I've seen it the most out of all of them, I think, and like the lines are the most quotable, and you know, and again, it's a really well made film still, like not just like it's not one of those inferior sequels. It's a sequel that's very good, you know, like it's one you could choose that is debatably better or not better than the original. You know, it's not a, well, that's clearly rubbish. You know, it's a strong sequel.
And it's a great standalone movie.
To
be honest, you don't really need to see Alien to see Aliens, no. Because you
could explain it in a minute to someone, couldn't you? Like,
actually, you don't even. It's like the Star Wars. You got the crawl to make people understand.
Yeah.
But you don't even need that, because as soon as you realise that someone is this smaller ship's being chased by a larger ship.
Yeah.
With Aliens, you've got this. They've got this pod that this craft that they collect, that they find floating in space, and
Burke basically just explains.
Yeah, it does all the exposition.
And I think like a lot of the best films sort of start in the middle of things, you know, like not right at the beginning and then finish, you know, because life is like that. You do come in in the middle of things sometimes, don't you?
But you said you preferred the theatrical to the director's
much better, on all
of Aliens. I got a question now, just because you said you prefer Aliens. We're gonna do soon. It's a 2 hour 17-minute film according to this IMDb. We'll sit down one day. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna do one of our first audio commentaries. We'll do Aliens.
Yeah.
And we'll look at it as a stand-alone movie.
Yeah, like no ties to the original.
Yeah. So forgetting that they actually made Alien, and as a standalone movie,
I think it'll hold up.
Yeah.
I think it really does hold up.
I mean, say with Alien, at the end of Alien, you could have gone without making any more sequels. You just wouldn't know what happened to Ripley.
It's like RoboCop as well. You don't need 2, 3, and the remake are just, you don't need them at all. No. Like there's no need to watch them.
A lot of people like to know what happens to these characters. Yeah. I've always said, I mean, going back to Return of the Jedi, I was never into the expanded universe. To me, it was always a snapshot.
I was for a bit, but then like it got stupid, like Luke destroying black holes, and like I just don't care. Like I just, like you say, like the core story ends at Return of the Jedi. Yeah. I mean, obviously until now, you know.
I always thought that after, what happens to Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, R2.
Yeah, the problem with I think the problem with expanded universe stuff, you know, even with doing it for prequels, when you start to link everything together, it makes that universe smaller. And I'd like to see someone, you know, not related to a Skywalker, or, you know, like someone who's not known Ripley. You know, that's what I think is Prometheus and Covenant have done really well. Like they haven't mentioned anyone. Like it's just the company, and that's all you see. Like, and I like that because it makes the history more real. Like, because obviously people that lived 300 years ago, you don't mention them a lot unless they're famous. You know, and Ripley wouldn't be famous. She's just expendable, isn't she?
The you mentioning about the whole expanded universe has made me realise that we're supposed to have been ending this, but you just opened up a whole new subject, a whole new element of this with Alien and Aliens. Where do you think the whole expanded universe in terms of these two movies. You've got the Alien versus Predators.
Yes.
Then you've got,
sadly.
So you've got that. Then you've got the like you mentioned. You mentioned Covenant and Prometheus.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Alien versus Predator movies never happened because they're terrible.
Yeah, they said that, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
and they didn't have any attention or anything. They're substandard movies.
Aliens relied. Excuse me. Aliens expanded stuff relied a lot on the Dark Horse comics. Like they did quite a lot of sort of expansion in that, but the only problem was they weren't allowed to reference Ripley or, characters like Hicks because of some sort of copyright issue. So you had these two characters called Billy and this woman called Billy, and then there was another, and Wilkes as well. And it's Ripley and Hicks. You know, like just say it. Like what is it? But yeah, no, I don't like a lot of expanding unless they absolutely specifically say it's canon. It doesn't really bother me.
You realise if you look at the Alien versus Aliens, those two are the movies. They never really talk about the other stuff.
No,
it's going to be those two.
Yeah, they're juggernauts, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they have their toes in different, ponds, I suppose, don't they? Like one's in an action one and one's in a horror one.
Yeah. It's kind of funny this is because I'm more of the we both love our action, but you are the horror fan.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's me going for the horror film and you going for the action film.
Yeah, it's ironic. Yeah,
it's kind of a complete.
But that's the expert. Like the thing about it, I think that it dabbles with those two different genres. Well, the sci-fi is the main one, obviously.
Yeah.
But the way it dabbles with the two genres, simultaneously in Aliens is another thing that impresses me a bit more because it started juggling three genres quite well. But yeah, I mean, I don't dislike Alien by any stretch. It's only literally like 1% better, I think.
Yeah.
If I had to choose.
I define Aliens as more of an action film. If I was to pick what is the dominant one, if you take away the science fiction conventions,
it's Vietnam, isn't it?
Again, but it's more. It is more action. Yeah, you said Vietnam going in and taking out these in a hostile, unknown environment.
Communist enemy here. Starship Troopers is the same. Like the novel, they call the bugs skinnies or something like that. And it's just whatever communist bad guy was around in the 50s and 60s. But yeah, no, it is definitely an action film. Let's specify that first.
But a good, I mean, the production value, like it's both from Korea. But for me, there's more tension, and it's.
Yeah, it's a different breed of the same thing, I think, isn't it?
You can also argue. I mean, what does it say about people who prefer Alien over Aliens or Aliens? Does it say?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will admit that Alien does have better than Aliens is the tension in that, because in Aliens there's more than one alien, but they're blowing them away like they're paper thin. So there's not really much like, ooh, these guys might get killed in a minute. They've got firepower. Whereas in the first one, they haven't got anything. They've got like cattle prods and. But
the alien in Alien, wipes. There may only be one, but that one is more powerful and it's eating through a ship.
Yeah.
And there's no backup. They're not on a planet. There's it's.
At least in Aliens, like they're quite tough. They know their jobs, but
they're outnumbered because
they're still outnumbered.
They're outnumbered, and they're on a. And to me, Aliens that's a bigger threat, especially with that Queen that keeps pumping them out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this Alien versus Aliens thing, we don't actually have a winner on this one, like you said. So it's
close. Yeah,
it is close, but for me,
I can't clearly delineate that it's way better. It's just, I don't know, slightly better, I think, for me. But they're both great still.
Yeah. Now, we've said our opinion. Now, what's yours? This is something to debate, and it's something which
gets interesting.
Yeah, this is something we may actually touch on again when we
100%. Yeah.
So yeah. So that's Franchise Wars, the first episode.
First episode. The Phantom Menace. No, not really.
That's coming soon. That's coming soon.
No, yeah. No, I think this is quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed doing this one.
Yeah.
That's Highground Podcast, Franchise Wars, Stevie W.
See you later, guys.